The video opens by pulling the viewer straight into a rumor that has already exploded online. The narrator doesn't start slow, instead, immediately setting the tone that something massive is unfolding in 2026 before the world even had time to adjust. The topic is introduced as internet speculation, not fact, which keeps it safe while still creating emotional weight. The narrator explains that the core story being discussed in the video is the claim that Stefon Diggs's chef is allegedly pregnant, and that this particular rumor carries more shock value than the others because of the timing, overlap, and the way the public interpreted it. The narrator emphasizes how quickly gossip spreads when the subject is famous, successful, and constantly watched, pointing out that the industry of celebrity news thrives on contradictions, missing pieces, and audience psychology. The audience is told that people online are obsessing over this story because it feels unfinished, layered, and messy in a way that invites debate. The narrator also reminds the viewer that this story has become engaging because it intersects relationships, public image, ego, media timing, fan loyalty, and personal discipline. The video frames 2026 as a turning point year that could shift careers, reputations, and public conversations. The narrator sets up that the chef rumor is only the first domino, hinting that the video will unravel the timeline, reactions, and consequences one point at a time. This creates anticipation without repeating or dragging, keeping the pacing tight and curiosity high. The narrator then moves into explaining the background and timeline that the video lays out. The story doesn't jump randomly. It's structured like a chronological breakdown of events that viewers can mentally visualize as it's told. The narrator explains that the chef is rumored to have been around from July to December 2025, which the video presents as the major spark for all speculation. The video describes that this overlap coincided with Diggs also being linked to Cardi B during the same period. The narrator explains how these timelines are being interpreted differently by fans, bloggers, and social media communities. The narrator describes how the video points out that the chef isn't rumored to be just part of his professional life, but potentially part of his personal life too, again framed as people are saying rather than factual claims. The video shows that viewers are captivated because the timeline suggests overlap, contradiction, and emotional tension, which makes the story feel more intense. The narrator explains how the video dissects the idea that public perception is often built on timing more than truth, and that the internet is invested because the story feels like a breach of a hidden narrative. The narrator describes how the video makes viewers feel like insiders analyzing clues instead of passive consumers. The video turns the timeline into a puzzle that people want to solve, making them lean forward mentally, even without flashy cinematic language. The narrator reinforces that the video presents the timeline as a sequence of events that explain why this rumor carried so much traction. It's not the rumor alone, it's the overlap, the holidays, the reactions, and the unanswered threads that made this topic irresistible for engagement. The narrator then describes how the video shifts into Cardi B's reaction and the conflict around her public image. The video presents Cardi B as someone who has already been in the public eye for handling emotional tension in relationships, which makes her reaction a familiar but still compelling arc for viewers. The narrator explains that the video talks about how fans believe she didn't take this rumor well, not because of the existence of past challenges, but because this one feels too recent and too personal, especially since it surfaced right after the holidays. The video shows her appearing at a game after Christmas, which the video interprets as her trying to reclaim the narrative or maintain visibility before it spiraled further. The narrator describes that the video explains how some viewers interpreted it as pride, some saw it as reputation defense, and others thought it looked staged. The video dives into the psychology of public image, how showing up in public sometimes becomes louder than private silence. The narrator explains that the video points out how fans and critics were split, turning her reaction into a discussion topic rather than a personal attack. The video describes that the audience is drawn into this conflict because it doesn't have a clear winner, only perspectives. The narrator explains that the video makes viewers feel like commentators themselves, analyzing motives instead of being told what to think. This keeps the story sticky. The video makes it clear that her reaction was not isolated. It ties back to patterns, reputation, fan loyalty, and emotional endurance. The narrator emphasizes that the video frames her reaction as a human moment being judged in public, which viewers can relate to emotionally even if their lives are nothing like hers. The narrator then explains how the video explores the speculation around Diggs and the chef's relationship. The video presents this angle carefully, never stating claims as fact, but describing them as circulating narratives that people online are pushing. The narrator explains that the video highlights the contradiction that people are talking about. If Diggs needed his chef for nutrition, fitness, and discipline, why was she not part of the holiday setup when it would have made logical sense professionally? The video uses that contradiction to fuel speculation. The narrator describes how the video talks about the overlap of her presence in his home, business support, and internet theories that turned into emotional narratives. The video does not confirm anything, but the narrator explains that the video leans into the audience's love for hidden narratives without crossing legal or factual boundaries. The video talks about how viewers became obsessed because the chef was framed as an in-home support system, someone seen as a professional role but interpreted by the internet as something more layered. The narrator describes how the video plays into the psychology of proximity equals suspicion when it comes to celebrity gossip. The video makes viewers feel like they're piecing together motives, behavior, and timing instead of being told facts. This increases retention because speculation makes people curious, and curiosity drives rewatches. The narrator explains that the video focuses on the possibility of a deeper personal connection, but always keeps it framed as rumor, not certainty. The power of the video lies in asking, "Why now?" without repeating phrases, creating a clean but attention-grabbing narrative thread. The narrator then explains how the video describes the Christmas event drama and the internet theories surrounding it. The video focuses heavily on this part because it is emotionally loaded and filled with contradiction, which naturally boosts engagement. The narrator explains that the video talks about how multiple children's mothers were rumored to be around Diggs during the holidays, and that the main question circulating wasn't about who was present, but who was missing and why. The video describes that people online claimed the chef was not part of the holiday dinner environment despite being central to his discipline and nutrition. That contradiction turned into a conversation storm. The narrator explains how the video presents this moment as a major spark that fueled memes, commentary, and speculation cycles. The video describes how the internet filled the blanks, debated motives, and made the story bigger than it originally was. The narrator explains that the video highlights that rumors spread faster when there is no closure, no official ending, and no confirmed timeline resolution. This makes viewers keep watching because they feel like the story could update at any second. The narrator also explains how the video leverages the relatability of holiday tension, reputation clashes, emotional investment, and relationship ego without repeating the same hook. The video makes viewers want to debate the missing chef contradiction more than the rumor itself. The narrator emphasizes that the video makes the Christmas event the emotional peak of the story, where all narrative threads collided and made the rumor feel more intense. The narrator then explains how the video transitions into the career and financial pressure angle. This part of the video works well because it adds a new layer that is both relatable and high stakes without repeating earlier points. The narrator explains that the video talks about how the personal drama could potentially intersect with career stability, long-term contracts, public reputation, and future financial obligations. The video mentions that Diggs' brother recently exited the NFL, which the video uses as context to show why career pressure is being talked about again. The narrator explains that the video highlights that financial pressure alone doesn't trend, but when it intersects personal drama, reputation risk, and long-term family obligations, it becomes a story viewers can't look away from. The video describes how the internet turned the story into commentary about stability, consequences, image risks, and long-term ripple effects. The narrator explains that the video uses this angle to make the story feel like it could impact more than one person, turning it into a broader discussion about fame, lifestyle pressure, and reputation endurance. This increases retention because viewers connect emotionally when the story shifts from gossip to consequence. The narrator emphasizes that the video presents this angle in a non-dramatic but high-impact way. Clean explanation, high stakes, no filler, no robotic phrasing, just a layered narrative that keeps viewers locked in. The narrator closes by describing how the video analyzes Cardi B's past relationship psychology and fan reactions. The video explains that viewers aren't just watching the story, they are inserting themselves into it emotionally, debating patterns, motives, and past decisions. The narrator explains that the video talks about how fans have mentioned for years that Cardi B's relationship history tends to follow a recognizable arc, which makes this moment feel less like a random rumor and more like a continuation of a story people were already invested in. The video describes how the audience split into teams, some defending pride, others questioning patterns, others focused on image, and others obsessed with the contradictions. The narrator explains that the video leverages the psychology of fan loyalty, reputation storms, and emotional endurance without repeating the same hook of phrasing. The video makes viewers feel like commentators, which boosts engagement and retention. The narrator explains that the video doesn't attack Cardi B personally, but frames her past choices as part of a pattern viewers are already debating. The narrator also describes how the video pushes viewers to leave their theories, because when a story is unfinished, audiences feel like their opinion could shape the next conversation. The video ends by encouraging engagement, leaving viewers with a final question instead of closure, which naturally increases retention, comments, and rewatches.